Hey everybody, what's up? Kevin here from the My Song of the Day Rock 2000 to Today YouTube channel. And as we enter the second half of the year 2020, let's look and preview it, shall we? Before we even jump into 2020, please follow My Song of the Day Rock 2000 on social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can get the 30-second Song of the Day preview on there to get new music every single day. You can connect with us, find out anytime anything gets released. Instagram is our biggest platform to date. We ask you a lot of questions on there. We connect with you on there a lot. We also have live streams every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Central for you to come hang out with us, talk, have a good time. We also have IGTVs get released every single Tuesday night. It's behind the scenes look at what we're doing here. Please also subscribe to this YouTube channel so you can get our fun videos like our album reviews, our Kevin Figures Out series where I try and figure out if I like a band or not, which is really going to get amped up in the year 2020. And also all our other fun videos like this one. And the Chord Progression podcast videos live here on the My Song of the Day Rock 2000 YouTube channel, so go subscribe to that. It is a way for you to get in the know with a lot of the emerging bands in the scene, so please go make sure you are subscribed to this YouTube channel so you can watch those videos and watch interviews with those bands. But if you just want to listen, you can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Play. Link in the description for everything I just mentioned, so yeah! Okay, so before we go and take a look into the future and predict what's going to happen in the second half of 2020, we have to take a look at the first half of 2020, which has been an incredible shit show to say the least. Let's really take a look and see what's gone on so we can make accurate predictions for the future. First big thing that happened in the first half of 2020, of course, is the coronavirus pandemic. So COVID-19 was classified as a worldwide pandemic in March of 2020, and the world completely shut down, and the music industry pretty much shut down as well, where tours that were going on at the time were canceled no matter what. Tours that were scheduled were postponed or canceled outright, and festivals were canceled outright as well. As for myself, I mean, I'm missing Hollywood Undead, Bad Wolves, Volbeat, Amity Affliction, Sleeping with Sirens, As I Lay Dying was rescheduled, Life Fest, Rock Fest, I mean, you name it, we've all gone through it, and a lot of the shows that we wanted to go to were essentially nixed. So of course, during this time when everyone's shut down, everyone's stuck inside, and musicians really can't go out and perform, they can create new music, they can connect their fans, or they can get really creative, and some musicians have gotten really creative. There have been a lot of live stream concerts that have happened. Take a look at the Dropkick Murphys. They did a whole live stream concert on St. Patrick's Day right as everything was getting shut down, and they also did a concert at Fenway Park. They streamed it along with Bruce Springsteen as well. There have been plenty of bands doing covers as well that have been interesting, and From Ashes to New is the prime example of this. They have gone out and done covers such as Gravity by Papa Roach, and they brought Jen Ledger from Skillet in on that. They've also created parody songs like Wake Me Up When 2020 Ends to parody Wake Me Up When September Ends. From Ashes to New absolutely killing it on that front. Couple other things we've seen have been with the festivals canceling, live stream festivals. Fearless at Home being one of them, probably my favorite one because of what Ice Nine Kills did with their whole entire Washing the Hands PSA, and the Jason's Mom parody of Stacy's Mom. So I thought that was pretty cool. Download Festival TV has also done something like that as well. And one of the biggest things that's happened has been Twitch streaming. Matt Heafy of Trivium has been big on this, connecting with his fans, and especially playing through their whole entire new album from 2020, What the Dead Men Say. But no one has done it better than Ronnie Radke, who is in the top 10 of streaming right now. When I'm making this video, he is at number 2 overall, and he could probably be number 1 by the time this video gets released. So he's absolutely killing it on that front. One other thing that's been happening in the beginning of 2020 has been the new music that has been released. And we've seen a lot of new music released due to the fact that, you know, a lot of this stuff has been planned since 2019 or had been announced right at the beginning of 2020 before the pandemic hit. So a lot of stuff had been already completed, mastered, everything done right. And we've gotten a lot of different stuff. Taking a look at some of the great stuff that has come out, take a look at metalcore specifically with bands like August Burns Red's Guardians album, What the Dead Men Say by Trivium, The Death of Me by Polaris, and the Ghost Inside Self album. They have been fantastic. We have gotten some pretty good stuff as well from bands like Make Them Suffer with How to Survive a Funeral, Red with Declaration, Five Finger Death Punch's F8, and Breaking Benjamin's acoustic Aurora album. However, there have been some absolute stinkers. Take a look at Asking Alexandria's Like a House on Fire. The Word Alive has done something like this as well. In This Moment with Mother, Green Day with Father of All, and of course Theory of a Dead Man with Say Nothing. I'm not really sure. When it comes to new music though, one thing I'm seeing in 2020 is metalcore is definitely hitting a high point right now. Where in 2019 I thought hard rock was hitting a high point with bands like Saint Asonia and Alter Bridge releasing great records. However, metalcore is really coming out in the first half of 2020 with some great records, so got to applaud them for that. One other thing that has affected the music world has been the George Floyd protests and cancel culture. So ever since the George Floyd protests started, we have seen a large increase in the amount of musicians being called out, not only for racial allegations, but for sexual allegations as well. So we'll take a look at a couple of them that have happened so far. One example is vocalist Maddie Mullins from Memphis May Fire, who put out an apology for using the N-word in a voicemail about 10 years ago. As of right now, he is still the frontman for Memphis May Fire, and I think that's going to stay the same way because he basically said that, you know, this was back when he was a kid, when he didn't know any better, and he has learned from it since, and he knows it's wrong. So going forward, I think they're going to be okay. Bassist from The Ghost Inside, Jim Riley, was accused of using racial slurs back in 2015 by Brace War drummer Rashad Jackson, and Riley confirmed these allegations, saying that he apologized and was sorry, and the day after The Ghost Inside released their self-titled comeback album, this is now on June 6th, Riley was removed from the band. Probably the biggest one we've seen with a sexual abuse and rape allegation standpoint has been Austin Carlisle, former vocalist of Mice and Men and Attack. He's accused of sexually assaulting and raping a number of women, including physical force and drugs with this. Now, Alt Press had an article that they had prepared for this, but they did not release it because they said that they didn't feel like they had enough allegations and enough proof that would really put this forward as a legitimate article, even though they had first-hand accounts, and then said that allegations like this and articles about this and investigations had been released in the past with less information, so they said that they should have released it. As of right now, Austin Carlisle has denied the allegations and saying that they're false, defamatory, and has lambasted against cancel culture for this. He said that independent journalists have gone through this stuff and have cleared him of it because the allegations were unfounded. However, this investigation is still going on, so I'm not going to comment on it further due to the fact that I really have no idea what's going on, how this is going to end. So one of the big things I found in the first half of 2020 has been the emergence of Italian metalcore, and my buddy Chris sent me, hey, check out this new band, they're called Stain the Canvas, I think they're great, go check them out. I absolutely love them with their emo metalcore sound, and their lead singer Brian has this unclean snarl that is absolutely unmatched. I ended up getting to talk to them on the Chord Progression podcast, along with a couple of other Italian metalcore bands like Eli, more Italian alternative metal. Waves in Autumn, I've found Deep as Oceans, Dead by Juliet, and Median, who has been probably one of my favorites out of all of them. I have to thank Adam Owley for this one because he manages Deep as Oceans, Eli, and Stain the Canvas, helped me put it all together, and me finding out about Italian metalcore has been just awesome! Alright, so now that we went through the first half of 2020, let's take a look at the second half of 2020 and see where things lie and see what's going to happen in the music world, because this is a year unlike any other. When it comes to live shows, there are two really different places you could take a look at this, here in America and over in Europe. So this is what I'm seeing from both places. In America right now, it looks like the major venues like arenas and places like the Rave here in Milwaukee, those concert venues that hold a lot of people, will not be having any sort of concerts in the year 2020. If they do, it will be very, very late. So we can expect probably nothing to happen there, which really makes me sad. However, there are smaller venues like bars that are having shows as well, with bands like American Grim, who we feature on the Chord Progression podcast, playing on July 17th. So I'm interested to see how this is going to turn out, but it seems like the smaller shows are definitely starting to pick up a little bit more, but the bigger shows and the big bands that I'm really going to be able to get in a mosh pit with, doesn't look like that's going to happen until 2021. Festivals are also pretty much canceled out the rest of the year. Blue Ridge is probably the only one I know that might still be on that is rather large, so we'll see what happens there because they have a lot of space. But then again, that's in September, we'll see what happens. In Europe, it's a little bit different. My friend from Slovakia confirmed that bands are able to play local gigs with up to 1,000 people. So again, they're getting larger venues, but they're larger crowds, but they're kind of keeping it small. So what do I expect to happen going forward in 2020? Again, I think we're just going to get these small shows, especially here in America. I don't think we're going to get the bigger bands to come out there. I don't think we're going to get the big things really start up until 2021, which does make me sad, but you know, what are you going to do about it? One other thing we can expect in the second half of 2020 is the amount of new music, and I think it's definitely going to drop off because a lot of bands that are going to be putting out stuff in the second half of 2020 would have been working on stuff and mastering, recording, and putting everything together in the beginning of 2020 in the first half. However, but because a lot of recording places have been shut down, people have been shut down, we have not been able to get bands into the studios to record some of this stuff. So I think we're going to see a big dip in the amount of music that gets released in the second half of the year. However, there are bands that are going to be releasing music in the second half of the year that we can look forward to. British metalcore band Bury Tomorrow and American rock band Trap are going to be releasing new albums on July 3rd. I'm curious to see how this is going to turn out because I think Trap's just going to get decimated by theirs, and Bury Tomorrow so far has a solid album with singles out there, so we'll see what happens. From Ashes to New is going to be releasing a full album called Panic on August 28th, so I'm looking forward to that as well. Through Alan Harrington on Twitter, he has told us that Like Moths to Flames and Fit for King will be releasing in the second half of 2020, so we have to look forward to that. But there's a couple bands I got to look at right now. I wonder when Rise Against can come out with their new album due to the fact that they've got so much material to work with now, but I'm kind of curious to see what Tim has to come with it, and when the hell are we actually going to get You're Welcome from A Day to Remember? I just don't know anymore. Also, now that we're about a month past the start of the George Floyd protests and seeing where that has led with cancel culture and musicians being canceled, can I expect an increase in that to continue as well? And for the meantime, my guess is yes, because in 2017 when the Me Too movement started, we saw a lot of people in Hollywood brought down because of this at the beginning. It did taper off after a while, so I think especially with us being more prominent in this right now, I think it definitely is going to see an increase in musicians seeing these allegations come forward, seeing things come forward about them, and potentially getting canceled outright. The reason I think this is going to happen is because right now the country in America has a heightened awareness of racial injustice and also sexual abuse in there. So a lot of times with musicians, with some of the stuff they've done, I think that a lot of allegations are coming forward, and if they're true, they're going to have to face the music. Plus, we have an election coming up in November as well, so different political opinions will definitely play a factor in this. I'm not going to go too much into cancel culture because I really don't care for it due to the fact that it doesn't allow for growth and doesn't allow for understanding. It doesn't allow for change as much, so I think there's definitely have to be something there. However, I do think that, with some of these allegations, if they are true, yeah, they are pretty vile, so I do understand that. It just has to go on a case-by-case basis. That's just my opinion, but I think we're going to see a lot more of that come forward in the coming months, especially in the next 6 months of 2020. And last but not least, I want to talk about the Chord Progression podcast as well. I'm going to try and do a couple other things as well with it, as we've been getting a lot more bands on as well. I'm going to keep increasing the amount of bands we're going to get, but I'm also going to try and get some personalities on there as well to kind of talk to them about music and certain things that have gone on. Take a look at guys like John from ARTV, Luke from Rocked, and Alan Harrington on Twitter. I'm going to try and get these guys on the podcast and other people as well, just to try and see if we can spice it up and just have a lot more fun. So yeah, that is going to be it for the 2020 second half preview. I hope you guys like it. I want to see what your predictions are in the comments below. But until next time, thank you for watching. This is Kevin from the My Song Today Rock 2000 to Today YouTube channel. You're going to end it with the hat flip. Ow. See ya!